Welcome to the Power Player Lifestyle Magazine. I am Leila Christine, my amazing co-host, Dr. Moshi Lewis. We always have fun interviewing people. It's all about Power Pod Talks. And today we have two amazing, beautiful ladies. Beautiful. I'm talking about they are so amazing. I had a moment to meet them many moons ago, and I was very impressed. They can sing, they can dance, they produce, they're spiritual healers. They got a lot going on, and we're about to get into it. So I'm going to introduce you to the beautiful Maya and Nandy. Welcome, ladies. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So my big question of the day, or I should state before I ask the question, is all of us have seen both of you ladies worldwide, global, with an icon, Prince. Mm-hmm. How was that experience to be a part of a person who made a global impact as far as music, as far as dance? I mean, we loved him. So tell me, I'll go with both you ladies. How did you meet him?
When we first moved to the US, we auditioned for a music video.
Yeah.
We were with a dance agency called Block, and they sent us to this audition. It was our third audition, I believe. And Fatima was the choreographer. Fatima was the choreographer, and we just auditioned for a song that he never ended up releasing.
Wow. Okay.
But it was he saw us on videotape, so he wasn't there. And then he said he saw one of us on the camera, and he said, "Oh, she moves in an interesting way." And then the camera panned to the next side, and then he's like, "Oh, there's two of them." And then from there on, we got booked for this video and jumped straight into rehearsals.
Wow. And how long were you a part of that amazing experience, the performances on stage? And everyone loved you guys on stage with Prince.
I think overall it was about 10 years, right?
A decade.
Yeah, a decade.
A decade.
Wow.
Because we had some fans let us know that you guys were the longest running dancers.
You were.
Because we didn't know, but that's what the fans said, so I think that's pretty amazing.
Now, are you natives of California or America? Where are your roots?
We're originally from Australia.
Okay, the beautiful Australian
Our
lady.
mum's got the British heritage, and then our dad's from Trinidad and Tobago. So we have Venezuelan, African, Welsh, British descent.
See, these are things that we just get really excited about. Yeah. So California, Los Angeles, are both of you, here residing now, or are you kind of traveling East Coast, West Coast?
Mm-hmm. I live in Los Angeles.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so where do you live?
I've been traveling. Maybe about 3 years before the pandemic, I started moving into my spiritual journey. And I'm like, I think I'm done with the city. I don't need to be here anymore.
Right.
And I was getting called to wanting to be more in nature and get connected to the earth. Okay. So mid-pandemic, me and my partner moved to Mexico. We moved to Playa del Carmen, which is like an hour from Cancun. So we live in the jungle. We've got like a 3-bedroom house there. And I even brought my dog from LA. So we have our little setup down in the jungle down there.
See, we got to talk about that. So let's go back to spirituality. Tell us about, you have a retreat. That's it. Tell us about the retreat, because I want to go out. I want to retreat. I want to get away from LA.
Well, I've been kind of spiritual life coaching for, I don't know, maybe the last 6 years now. I was doing it kind of on the side and with all my production stuff and music. And then right before the pandemic hit, I got really connected to that. I really want to help people connect to their purpose in life and teach them to learn to listen to their intuition so they can be guided by a higher calling and really generate more peace and satisfaction in their journeys. So I became a life coach full-time when the pandemic hit, which was perfect because so many people were in need of mindset adjustments, helping them with their health and wellness while we're at home. Like, how do we navigate those times? So my business started flourishing and just started, getting the word out to help people. And then because I take people through kind of like a Sufi journey where I take them through a journey of self-love and help guide them into their purpose, then by the end, sometimes they can have it feel like a disconnect from their family members or friends because they don't really relate anymore because they've transformed so much. And so I felt the call to create retreats to help bring, my first and foremost, my clients together so they can kind of connect and spend time healing in the jungle with like-minded people. And then, you know, being in nature is the perfect place to heal. And I brought facilitators in from the local areas because I really wanted to honour the local people down in Mexico. We've got some beautiful indigenous healers. We do Temazcal, which is like the Native American sweat lodge. And then we do the beautiful traditional cacao ceremony, which helps open up the heart chakra. It's kind of like a sensory experience. So it's just really beautiful, these retreats, and it gives people an opportunity to unplug.
Now, what about the crystal singing bowls? Is that a part of your experience where you use the crystal singing bowls? Because I think I've seen a picture of you with the crystal singing bowl.
Sound healing bowls.
Yeah, I love them. I love them. And then we want to dive into your world because you're a producer. We have Netflix. You you were the producer on India Ari. So
Director.
The director, not a producer. She was a director. All
I
about the
produced
music.
that one.
Yes. So, I mean, how did you get into the whole, the directing?
Well, after me and Maya stopped doing music together, I remember visiting a director friend of mine, and I was laying by her pool, and I was really tapping into what's next, what am I called to do, and I wrote a list down of everything that excited me at the highest level at the time, and music wasn't on it. And it was all the avenues were pointing towards the visual arts and getting behind the camera and starting to create stories. So that's how it started.
So how did you, get the hookup, as they say, with India Ari? Because that was a beautiful video. Did you see it? The music video?
It was interesting. I had a friend of mine, his name's Fez. He's like into the music industry in Australia, and he referred me to a new artist that he was like semi-representing from afar. Right. And so I had directed her music video. Her name's Hope Wadley, so she's like an up-and-coming artist. And she's represented by India Ari's manager as well, like her primary manager. And so after I directed her video, India's manager hit me up and said, "Hey, do you want to throw in a treatment? India's looking for her next video." And I said, "Are you serious?" Sure. I used to listen to her so much when I was growing up. Yeah, I loved her music, and so it was definitely an opportunity. And they usually send like a director's note of what direction they're kind of thinking with the song, because the artist likes to get involved. So I read this little, paragraph, and I said, "Yep, I can do that." So I drew up a treatment. So that's, prepping, what's going to be in the video, and I sent that out to them. And I believe there were 12 directors total that had submitted, and then they picked mine.
Yeah, I like it because it's a beautiful video. As a matter of fact, when I, go to my YouTube, because, YouTube is my fame, it's one of my favorites. It's a beautiful video. So do you have any other videos, music videos that you are going to be, that are in the works right now?
My next project that's in the works is a short film.
Okay.
And it's going to be like a proof of concept short film for a TV series. It's based on like the racial impact on a little boy, and then who he ends up becoming. And it's a drama short, and it's a drama sci-fi, and he ends up becoming like a new superhero.
All right, Netflix.
Yes.
I know that we did our little background research as far as Netflix. How did you get into the Netflix family?
So I have a producer friend of mine that we worked with on a lot of commercials, and she hit me up and she goes, "Hey, we need a director for this thing. We're shooting these beauty videos. It's for a new Netflix platform called Ta-Dum, which is based off the sound effect of Netflix. Ta-dum.
Oh. Okay.
When it opens up. So it's like based off that logo sound, but it's like a new behind the scenes type like platform for all the fans to get into all the behind the scenes stuff of all the TV shows. So the project that I worked on was called Just Browsing, and it's based on all the characters' eyebrows, and we have a social media like a social media artist, where she sits there and she demos all the eyebrows on her face to camera. So yeah, it's like beauty content. So
Yeah,
it was
we
lots
love
of
beauty
fun.
content, don't
Sure.
we?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And we were also trying to understand in what way you feel your time in the music industry when you were performing really kind of helped not only shape who you are, but ultimately what you did.
I mean, even before I started, I was always, like, even me and May used to dress up our nephews and nieces and take photos of them. So we're always into the visual, and then our dad was a musician, so he influenced us musically. But, you know, working with Prince and all these big artists, you know, it's just part of the, you know, part of your presentation, like all four fronts. So it's like, you know, singing, dancing, styling, you know, directing, choreography. It's just all, it's all part of the same.
You
It's
ladies are
also,
traveling.
it's also about empowering people too. Like when we used to dress up like our friends at home and do photo shoots, it was kind of like empowering them to feel comfortable in their own skin. And being in front of the camera is a nice practice of like self-love. Like my mum used to feel really uncomfortable whenever I'd pull a camera out because we love visuals. And so whenever we'd document or take pictures, I could feel she wasn't so comfortable. So I always say if you can practice being in front of the camera, even if it's yourself, people think that selfies is like can be self-centered, but you can also flip it and look at it as like a self-love practice. Because if you can see yourself in that mirror and that reflection and fully accept everything that you are, you know, from the inside out, you know, it's a nice self-love practice. So I think that's
I like
a nice
that. Self-love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Selfie.
So we
self-love.
can't have more.
Selfie. That's the new self-love hashtag.
Hashtag
Selfie self-love.
So your websites and Instagram, people that are going to, you know, want to get in contact with you, they want you to, you know, do your next great works as far as, you know, directing, and you as far as your spirituality. Give everybody your websites and all that good stuff so they can connect with you.
Yeah, for anyone that wants to potentially set up like a 30-minute kind of discovery session, if you want to get guided into your purpose and learn how to listen to your intuition and work with me as a life coach, you can check out my website. It's mayamclean.com, MAYAMCCLEAN.com. And my retreats are on there as well, so you can check out the retreats if you want to attend. We still have some spots left for the November retreat. And then my Instagram, that's where I kind of like I put everything on there.
Yeah.
It's at Maya McClean, so MAYAMCCLEAN.
And my website is nandymclean.com. And I serve people that are looking for primarily minorities within the entertainment industry and women that own their own businesses. So I create promotional content, short films, music videos, anything like that. So if you're an artist or if you have a product that you want to sell, or if you need a testimonial video, just anything within those fronts, please, you know, hit me up. I love to empower people within their businesses and primarily within the minority community.
See, this is what we need.
Exactly.
We need this.
More empowerment, more self-love. We can't have too much of that.
More producers, directors, all that.
Because the more you promote your business, the more money you can make and the more difference you can make within your community through your business.
So I wanted to discuss some of the challenges you felt working with some of these artists, especially Prince. That seems like you also have to give so much of yourself and also dig really deep.
Yeah. Well, I used to have a term when I was working with Prince that you're in the purple universe or the purple haze, because you're literally in his world and in that universe. And at the time I was discovering myself and my own autonomy and my own world. And sometimes when you're in other people's worlds too much, you can lose yourself. And even in relationships, you know, with your families, you get influenced by things that may not be aligned with who you're choosing to be. Now, that wasn't the case with Prince, but it was, you know, sometimes it was a little bit difficult going with his flow all the time. But I did learn a lot from that because I was always interested in the question, like, why do you do things so last minute? And this was before I was on my spiritual journey, so I didn't really get it then. I said, why do you do things last minute? And I can see all your crew or your managers and assistants are all hustling and bustling when you make a choice last minute. And I said, that's kind of unfair to them. Like you're not really thinking in community. And I had all my judgments and stuff
right.
at the time. And then he goes, well, if I plan something out in advance, then I won't be in the present. It will take me out of the present moment. I was like, okay, I kind of intellectually got it, but now on my journey I get it. Like when we take ourselves out of the moment and plan too much in the future, then you can take yourself out of the present moment to be able to listen to really what's true for you, and we can get stuck in situations, relationships, jobs, whatever it is that isn't really for us, and then we end up trapping ourselves in those kind of realities. So I definitely learned a lot from him and really got and understand the way that he operated, even with the shows. Like we used to have issues with, because we're doing all the choreography, the singing and the dancing, and would need to kind of pre-prep our costumes and the hair and makeup and wardrobe. It would kind of depend on what we're doing in the show with how we looked, what we wore, which microphone we're using. Are we using a head mic, hand mic, you know, what shoes. We used to wear Heelys, like we had to do a whole backstage choreography. And he wouldn't write his his set list out until like 5 minutes before the show, and we're just like,
wow,
everyone's like, what are we doing, kind of thing. But that would also be in the moment, so he waits to get his downloads of what feels true and organic for him to perform, so it feels really natural instead of being on a click track and we're doing the show from top to bottom. Every show was organic. So we would quickly find out last minute and have to hustle and bustle and okay, we need to wear this, put these shoes there, okay, we're good. Which leg am I stretching, like focusing on, you have to just be prepared for anything. So that was a beautiful learning at the beginning. It was a struggle, and then once I started understanding and being in that flow more and letting go of control, and I was like, oh, okay, I get what you're doing now. And then it just orchestrate, you know, the audience. If the audience is getting too hyped up, you would feel the energy and bring it down into like something relaxed, and then bring them into a peaceful state. And if they're getting too kind of still, then it would bring them up, so he feels the energy and then conducts the band and the show with where the energy is moving.
That's
so
awesome.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
We love to see them, you know, like when he was performing and you were in that realm of energy. It was intense. It was great.
It's amazing.
I remember, I think we could have been in Australia. Before we were going out on stage, he said, don't be in the past or the future, be in the moment.
Wow.
And that's true for, you know, the drummer. If he's in the past thinking about what he just did, or going to the next hit, then he's not going to be on time.
Yeah, he goes, you'll mess up if you're not in the present.
Wow.
You're not going to be right there hitting it hard.
He was kind of like a perfectionist. Did you think he was a perfectionist?
Yeah, he'd go, oh, there's a hair out of place. Like, he'd come up and do things like that. No, you put lip liner on. If we don't have lip liner on.
Really?
Visual stuff. It was kind of like
It's
a
just
Barbie
like
dolls
being an
too.
expert within your field.
Okay.
So it's all about the attention to detail that brings the quality to the next level.
Now, that probably made a positive impact as far as where both of you ladies are at right now. Your spiritual journey, and you, of course, being in the entertainment as a director and a person that has to deal with the scripts and people and personalities. So
It comes down to picking your crew,
Yeah.
you know, creating every little detail. And you have to sign off on everything.
Wow.
It's kind of like playing God in a positive way, but that's who we all are when we're bosses.
What a great mentor and a guide to have, Prince. No,
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much better.